Hey guys, welcome to Toe Tags Metal Reviews, and today we are going to be having our final review for obZen by Meshuggah. Now I'm going to give the floor to Vile, and I'd like to know what you thought of the album after listening to it for 1 week.
Well, this is one of those ones where the album was new to me, but you had listened to it. You've been listening to it for a long time. Big fan of Meshuggah. Trying to get me into the band, and this was his introductory album for me. Now listen, I listened to this album, like you said, for the whole week. I've been listening to it non-stop. I don't even think I took any breaks to listen to anything else other than maybe an odd song here and there. I'm just going to say out the gate that my opinions now have not differed very much from my first impressions video. If you guys watch my first impressions video, you'll know that I was not entirely impressed with the album. I respect the band. I respect what they do. I respect their talent. They have immense talent. I actually watched a live video of Bleed, which is probably the best song from them that I've heard. And the way these guys start the song and kick it off with such precision and tightness as a group, without counting down. I'm sure they have some sort of internal count, but the crowd doesn't know. As a viewer, I didn't see it. It was impeccably perfect, and it impressed me a lot. With that said, Bleed is the best song on the album for me. It's the song that I was the most, enjoyed the most. It was the song that I found just, the best overall. It just so happens to be in a 4/4 time, which, as I mentioned before, is what I'm more comfortable with. The standard 4/4 time. And somebody like you, you study music, you're into the whole time signature changes and all that fancy stuff. I can appreciate the technicality behind it, but to me, it just doesn't sound good. I mean, I feel like I've had hiccups with better rhythm than this band. I feel like I've heard bug zappers at the cottage with better rhythm than this band. I mean, it sounds bad to say, but their rhythm is just all over the place. And yeah, there's a pattern to it, but it just doesn't sound natural. It's like Meshuggah's like the Elaine dance of metal music. You know what the Elaine dance is?
Not exactly.
Look it up because it's got no rhythm. It's from Seinfeld basically, but anyways, look it up if you don't know what the Elaine dance is. If I can find the little animation, I'll put it like right here. If I can find one.
Right between us.
Look at
that.
Yeah,
there
look at that.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And if there's not one there, we're gonna look like idiots.
Okay.
But anyways, even though Bleed was my favorite song on the album, there's still parts of that song that I hate. Literally hate it, and it pisses me off. About a minute and a half into the song, it plays the same part in repetition for about 20 seconds. And, okay, I'm a little older than you. I didn't grow up with MP3 players. I grew up with CD players. Now, some of you older guys that are watching are going to know what I'm talking about. You younger people, you don't know the struggles, okay? But we had to deal with skipping, okay? CD skip. When you have your CD player in your pocket and you're walking down the street or you're riding your bike, you're wherever you are, in the car, whatever, it skips. Now this, in the song Bleed, like I said, about a minute and a half in, it basically sounds like it's skipping for 20 seconds, and it triggers me. I'm like, no, not this again, and it brings back these old memories of when we had to listen to shitty-ass CD players before MP3 players came out. I don't get it. I don't get how that's supposed to sound good. I don't get how that's supposed to be appealing. I just don't understand it. The only other song that really stood out to me and sounded a little bit different than the rest was the Vengeful Snake, or the Spiteful Snake. The Spiteful Snake. That one sounded a little bit different, but it was only after I heard the album for probably like the 5th or 6th time where that started standing out to me a little bit. And I was like, okay, this is kind of starting to, build its own kind of track. But other than Bleed, the rest of the album blended together. Well, I should say the last song too, because the vocals changed a little bit. But the vocals on this album, I don't know if it's consistent through all of Meshuggah's albums, but guy sings in one tone, one pitch. He might as well be screaming the same word the whole time. I mean, I can't tell the difference. I don't know, man. The vocals were just not impressing me. I don't know. I wasn't feeling it. I really, really wanted to like it, and I like the aggressiveness of it. There's stuff I did like. The aggressiveness of it, the heaviness of it, like I said, the talent and the technicality of it. I like all that stuff. But as for something I want to listen to and groove to and chill with and stuff like that, it just doesn't meet the criteria that I normally need for a band like that. So that's my thoughts. That's my thoughts on the album so far. So Let's see what you got to say about it.
Well, I'm kind of like the opposite of you. I love this album to death. This is, for me, an incredible album, and the way I enjoy it is a lot different than how I feel that you enjoy music. Because, you know, I talked about this before with you, that there are three aspects of music: melody, harmony, and rhythm.
Yep.
Meshuggah doesn't really have melody or harmony, so it's all rhythm. And they play with it so much, they make it so... they make it... For me, as someone who studies music, and specifically I'm a drummer, it's really deep for me to kind of play a game with myself, say, what time signature is this? What kind of figures are they playing? And it's you know, hell, I feel like it kind of helps to teach about music in general, at least at a rhythmic level. You know, back when I was doing, when I was learning with a private teacher, he literally used bleed to explain a rhythmic concept to me, and I, you know, at the time I'm like, yeah. He's like, you know, bleed? I'm like, oh yeah. He's like, oh, well, here's the thing about it. I'm like, wow, whoa, like it blew my mind. But another one of my favorite things about this album, and especially Meshuggah in general, is the aggression and energy.
They do have that.
These guys break the house down,
They
and
do have
with
that.
every song they do it. And I after we had your first impression, I put the album on myself, and I'm like, oh my god, now I remember why I love this album so much. It's just, it fucking boom. There's so much energy flowing. It just makes me just want to punch things. It's especially Bleed, which is my favorite track on the album. That and the title track are my two favorite, but Bleed, I think, edges it out a little bit.
Yeah.
But I totally understand where you're coming from. I totally understand from your perspective why you wouldn't like it, how things may sound random, how things get very repetitive. So I totally respect how you feel, and I understand that. It's just, for me personally, it just clicks in all the right places for me.
What do you rate the album? Time to rate it. Let's go.
So this album, I mean, it's pretty clear. I love this album so much. It just invigorates me so much to listen to it. This album for me is a toe tag album.
Toe tag. I'm not surprised.
It's
You picked it for a reason, right?
I picked it for a reason. This is a fantastic album for me. What would you rate this album?
Obviously, as we just mentioned, my opinion is much different than yours, so unfortunately it's not going to get my toe tag. I did toss around a bunch of numbers in my head about how I could rate the album, but I think, for me, I think a fair rating to give it, for me, is a 5. I might get hate for that. I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. The reason why I give it a 5 is because, like I said, there was like a balance between stuff I didn't like and stuff I did like. I don't think either really outweighed the other too much.
It kind of reached a middle ground.
Kind of reached a middle ground. Like, I can tolerate it, I can listen to it, I can enjoy it, but nothing was like, this is awesome, oh my god, that is crazy. Except for maybe the first minute and a half, like I said, of Bleed. That is awesome. That's the best part of the whole album. But then as soon as I start doing that skipping thing, I'm just like, I roll my eyes as big as I can. I'm like, oh my god. And then it does it twice in the song too. I think it does it at the end as well. But with that said, I don't know. I mean, I know there's a lot of hardcore Meshuggah fans out there. There's a lot of people that don't like Meshuggah at all. I think I'm right in that middle ground where I can tolerate them. I'm not going to rush out and buy their albums. I'm not going to get excited when they got a new album coming out. If it comes on, I'll check it out. I'll listen to it. I don't mind if other people are playing it in the background or whatever. So I'm right in the middle ground right there. 5 out of 10 is what I give it.
They're a really hard band to get into, especially because, like I said, they don't really have two of the three main aspects of music. So it's a lot, like for this album, for me, it's a toe tag album, but I feel like a lot of people who are new to Meshuggah should definitely check this album out if they want to give it a chance. But I think it might be a case-by-case basis on if you're going to get into it or not. For you, you weren't exactly into it, and that's fair. Like I said, it's kind of hard to get into them as a band. They're very different.
Do you have any regrets choosing obZen as the album of choice? Would you have, if you can go back and maybe, knowing my opinion of this now, do you think there's another album that might have been a better choice for me to get into the band and appreciate the band a little more? I
want to say no, because I was really struggling like obZen or Chaosphere, but I felt Chaosphere had too many moments that were really whack.
Yeah.
That I think you really wouldn't have liked at all.
Okay.
But I feel like they're similar. They're also from completely different eras. Chaosphere is rather early. obZen is rather recent.
Okay.
And I feel like obZen has a better just overall sound mix to get you into the band. But like anything after obZen, I would say is kind of similar to listening to obZen.
Okay.
Like Coloss or The Violent Sleep of Reason. But overall, I think obZen was probably the best choice. I wouldn't have chosen anything else. But yeah, they're tough to get into. They got a lot of weird stuff going on. But if you get into it, then I love you.
Very nice.
Anyway, that'll be it for our review of obZen. by Meshuggah. Remember to like, comment, favorite, and subscribe. Tell me what your favorite Meshuggah album is. I'm very interested.
Comments below.
I don't know if he's interested, but I definitely
I still
am.
like to know. Yeah. I want to hear people's opinions. I always do.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, let me know if you guys can dig the rhythm, the way they break up the rhythm and all that stuff in this band. I mean, let me know what you think of the vocals. Maybe you can convince me otherwise, you know? I don't know. But I'm pretty opinionated guy, so when I get an opinion going, it's hard to change it. But I gave it a chance. I really, really gave it a chance. I really tried to like it. I tried to get into it and really get into their minds and try to, you know, get with what they're trying to do. But there's just certain parts of it where I'm like, is this supposed to sound good? This is supposed to sound good. People enjoy this. Whatever. Everybody's got their opinions. It's a subjective thing. It is what it is. But anyways, that's it for the video. I'm Vile Self.
I'm TV Fish.
We'll see you guys on the next one. Later.